Bizarre Brain Comics.
Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, I want to take a look at something from across the Pacific Ocean. Yes, this is Mai, the Psychic Girl from Japan. This is 1988, Eclipse Comics and Viz Comics. Mai, the Psychic Girl, written by Kazuya Kudo and Ryoichi Ikigami. Excuse the horrible pronunciation of those names. And of course, it is a Japanese manga, which was serialized in Shogakukan Weekly Shonen Sunday magazine in 1985 and 86, and it was reprinted in 6 tankobon volumes. It was one of the first manga series to be fully published in English, along with Kamui and Area 88, by Viz Communications with Eclipse Comics. It published in a bi-weekly comic book in 87. And in the 80s, a film was in discussion as a musical with interest by director Tim Burton and Carol Cole Pictures. Later, a different project started in 2000 by Sony Pictures, neither of which ever came to fruition. And in the story, I think it could make a decent movie, even though I've never read the entire storyline. In the story, it's Mai. Maybe that's supposed to be May, but I always pronounce it Mai. Mai Kuju is a 14-year-old girl with psychic powers and is pursued by the Wisdom Alliance, which seeks world domination and already controls 4 other psychics and has the Kaida Intelligence Agency out to capture her. And I have no idea how the story concludes on this. When it came out, I remember when it was coming out, and I used to get several issues. I got several issues of it, but I just could not keep up with it being bi-weekly, and plus such long form storytelling, which I am not a big fan of, and not like they do in the manga. And of course, American comics has followed on with that. Of course, it was relatively short for the manga, but I picked it up. I was impressed by the artwork, was what got my attention, but not enough really happened in each issue. You know, the story was not advanced much per issue, which is an annoyance. But it really has some really beautiful art, and I like the concept. And the one I'll be taking, I've got issues 10 and 16 here, and I'll be taking a little look in issue 16 because it's got some of the more interesting stuff in it. And right now, these are the only 2 issues of Mai that I've got. I had several before, but I had gotten rid of them several years ago. And this book, as well as the others, Kamui and Area 88, and a little later also had Lone Wolf and Cub. along with these were originally in U.S. published with the art flipped, so it would be read from left to right instead of right to left as in Asia. And of course, it was translated. Some people, all that I can see it, and makes sense. And with just a little, within just a few minutes, it becomes pretty natural to read the English translated manga that is published with the art in its original orientation, reading from right to left. And it doesn't take long to readjust to that, because I've done it. I just like the stuff that has shorter stories, where they have like a single volume of the manga size, original regular manga size book, instead of the American style comic stuff, where you can get one or more stories in the whole thing. When you get one volume that is just part of a 100-volume story or whatever, it's just, forget it, because I will lose interest in it. So I also don't like TV shows that are too serialized. I mean, subplots and stuff I can see, but when I prefer to have the main story run. I got a fly on my book. Get away. When the main plot runs 20 episodes or whatever or more, I lose interest quickly, for the most part, unless there's other parts that other plots that do come to fruition. That was a problem I had with the show Lost. It was continued and continued and continued, and new plot threads and subplots were started up, and nothing was ever concluded. And then I didn't even watch the end of it, and from my understanding, they were all dead, and it was kind of like a dream. Well, you just hate that. So let's take a little look. You can see, just see here on the cover, it's some nice artwork there. Has this, of course, this main face right here is Mai herself, and this blonde character is another psychic girl. I've forgotten her name. She's a German, daughter of a German ambassador, I think it was, and she is working for the what was it? The Wisdom Alliance. And it starts right here, the Face Off, part 29. It's some really nice work, especially artwork. Like, they must have had architectural illustrators doing these backgrounds. It's just so beautiful, and it'll look almost like photographs in the Face Off. Oh, at this time, Mai had more or less surrendered herself to the Qaeda agency, and they have broken from the Wisdom Alliance, and they are now protecting her from them, but they still want to use her. But for the time being, they are basically helping her. And then the Face Off. There are agent. That's the girl. It's very quiet. And there are guards. Agents, intelligence agents around, and there you see her souping up her psychic powers, and boom, she just kills the first guy right off, and find out later that it seriously injures the others. Has these, and some really nice. The style is almost naturalistic, but still has a lot of some of the manga stylization and conventions, but is for the most part naturalistic, and I like that in the artwork. And then I see that this artist likes to do a lot of these kind of body twists like that, and it looks real good. It adds impact and action to an otherwise static image. And she was zapping all these other guys. Boom! See, you can see the body twist again there, and you can see it right here on the inside the cover. And then she takes off, and they're communicating telepathically. This was a warning. Obey my orders, or I'll do the same to you. Ooh. And here she is with her puppy. Her puppy dog. But her pup can sense the girl, and that's why she was growling and barking earlier. And here's the old man who's in charge of the Qaeda agency, and he's getting word on that attack. And one of his people here is wanting to follow up that girl, and take care of her, take her out, because we only need one. It doesn't matter if we kill this German girl. We only need one. So they've got some of their own plans to use Mai, but she doesn't know that, and we don't know what they are either. And she's staying with this old elderly couple, and they are shown in a more humorous stylization here, but is not always that way. And and just lovely features on this little girl, and such a cute puppy. And again, the great architectural scenery. Washing the puppy up, and then a messenger appears for her to deliver a message to Mai. See, and then as the drama increases, we see the more realistic look on the elderly lady, and all that was just one chapter, so it doesn't move much. Then a voice from the past, and then we see who picks up the same spot, and the guy is a messenger from a specific hotel, has a message from her dad, and it's telling her to come meet him at his hotel room, such and such a hotel room. And then the agents pop up right behind the guy, says, I have a question, come with me. Oh, he's got a look on his face. And there comes the puppy. It's cute as he's shaking the water off. And just some more secondary plot stuff going on there. So he tells them the agents to call the room, verify that it is her father, and then take her and go with her to meet her father. And she talks to him on the call, and you can see she goes, "Dad?" And you can tell by the emotion in her face and the tears, and you really see it right here. Yes, she recognizes it as her father's voice. She confirms it. They get in the car and they take off. Meanwhile, the agents who were, this is still in, boom, and they're going in 3 cars in a motorcade. Meanwhile, we see another beautiful image here of this other home. Western style house, and their agents are watching there, and they're keeping an eye on the other psychic girl, that blonde German girl, and she's in a car with marvelous drawings on these cars. It is basically photorealistic, and on the traffic, the action on the highway, and there's a really good view of her, but they're following her, and the motorcade and the girl converge. Here's this truck. Oh, something's going on. The truck blocks off the motorcade. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Screech! And crashes into the semi, the lead car, and explodes. Kablooey! And here's the car with Mai and they're headed right into the explosion. To be continued. Dun dun dun! What happens in the beautiful rendition of that explosion? And there we have just a small taste of Mai, the Psychic Girl from Japan. And it's as I said, the artwork was the big attraction to me. I liked the concept of the psychic girl, but I never found out where it went because it just ran on and on. So, thank you for joining me. I hope you liked this book touch on this book. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, do comment. Have you read this story? Or are you in some way familiar with the Psychic Girl? Or anything else created by these creators? What do you think of that artwork? And tell me, what do you think of this extremely long form storytelling? That's just a pain in the butt to me. I'd rather have a story be 2, 3, maybe 4 issues, something like that.
And remember, people, comics are art.